What is going on, guys? Welcome to this video. Today I have Phanos with me, and we're going to talk about playing college in the United States, being a student athlete, and the mental aspect related to that. So, welcome. Thanks for being with me today, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences.
Hello, Gabriel. Thank you for the invitation. Very excited about this conversation.
All right, thank you. So, the first thing that I wanted to ask you is to share a little bit about your background experience before you went to the United States. Uh, have you played soccer before professionally or on academies? How did it happen? And when did you decide to go to the United States and to play for college?
Of course. So I'm from Cyprus. It's an island in the Mediterranean. I obviously started playing football from a young age. I was about 10 or 11. I don't really remember right now, but I developed through the academies of a team called Northosis. I played in the U15s, U17s, U19s, and so on. After I graduated from high school, I took a gap year and competed in the professional second division in Cyprus with the first team when I was about 18. But going back from that, when I was about 16 or 17 years old, I decided that the opportunity of going to the US to combine my studies and my career as a soccer player was the best choice for me. So I started a process with an agency when I was 18 years old, where they guided me through applications, through what I needed in order to be eligible to play in the US. And that's when it happened. After I just turned my 19th birthday. I started setting applications around, and that's when it happened.
So, how many years have you been in the United States now?
This is my third year. I'm a junior, and it's my first year in my new university. I'm a student athlete now for Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers. Before that, I was at a junior college, Tyler Junior College in Texas. So after I graduated, I transferred for another 2 years at the D1 school.
Great. And how do you compare the level of the professional soccer that you play in Cyprus and the NCAA division? And how is the level? How is different is it?
Europe and America is much different, I have to say. In the other is another continent, and the culture of football is how we call it in Europe. It's a little bit different. This in Europe, this is our main sport. Soccer is our main sport, so the investings are a lot. You already know this in Brazil. So when I came here and comparing to an NCAA division, I have to say that I was really impressed because from what I heard on the previous years, the soccer division was not as developed as it is now. Now there's players all over the world coming to play and prove themselves and making a step to their career, combining their studies as well. And I have to say that I met so many people, and I had teammates for people that they were from a lot of I am at. The level is, I have to say, is very good and is very competing. There's plenty of talented and hungry players to improve and play, get their chance, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also play college. I play on NAI, and the level is not the same as NCAA, but there are players from all over the world that are playing there, and a lot of players are still trying to go pro to play in the professional level. And the IC is a great opportunity for young athletes. to study, to play their sports, not only soccer, and still have the opportunity to do what they love to do. And even athletes that don't want to go pro anymore, but they are still playing their sports. And I believe that this gives us a great experience in life and will help us in whatever career we decide to take on the future. And talking about the future of for college athletes, for how they're gonna use these in the future, do you believe that it's possible or it's easy or how competitive it is for college athletes to take to the pro level and become professional athletes? How do you see that?
That's a very good question. That I was also troubled of figuring out how the system works. So this is how it goes. I think that if you're an exceptional player, if you're a very very good player, and you exceed at the NCAA level, there's so many opportunities because at the NCAA tournaments and during your regular season, there's managers all over the globe, and not only that, managers from the MLS, that's the first division of America, and the USL, the second division of America, and they come watch your games. I have plenty of examples that I know of my friends, teammates, and many more players that were able to get drafted from the MLS and to play professionally in Europe after their college experience. So if you work hard, this is what I think. If you work hard and you exceed at this level, there's gonna be an opportunity for you, and there's no doubt about that.
Great. I also think that way. And one thing that I really enjoy about this system of universities of college sports is that most of the universities they have all the support, all the equipment, all the coaching staff, the gyms, they have all everything that a professional club has, and they offer you to improve. My college is not that big, it doesn't have all the structure. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that. You have an experience on Europe, and now you are playing at a top university. How is the structure? How is the difference between the club, the professional club you played before, and the university now?
Okay, so if we're gonna talk about the facilities, there is no doubt that the best facilities I've came across is in America. Um, the university that I am right now has exceptional facilities. There's anything everything you need as an athlete. And where do I start? Amazing locker rooms, very nice fields, um, training rooms with trainers that are with you all the time. We get very good treatment. We get food. We get taken care of. So comparing to when I used to play second division in Cyprus, I would say facility wise, I had a much greater experience in America. But in other aspects, there's obviously the fact that you in the professional level, you play with men. You could play with a 35-year-old with plenty of experience. You could play a 30-year-old. You can play with 18-year-olds. In colleges, ages vary from, I don't know, you could say 17 to 22, 23 years old. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some exceptions, but I think that plays a little bit of a role in your overall experience, I would say, and the level.
And do you think that playing professional before going to university has given you some advantage, some better experience?
It's a good question. I had, to be honest, when I came from the academy to play at a professional level with football, adapting to the situation because I never played with men, you know.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a trouble in the end, I figured it out. But I believe yes. When I played with in a professional level for a year, I wouldn't say it's an advantage, but it gives you a little bit different perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, on the field, something that you wouldn't do in the academy, something that you would do in the academy. I'm sorry, you wouldn't do it now because you had the experience now of a man that's gonna put, I don't know, his body better. You know, he's stronger than you, so you have to find other ways to deal with the problem. You know, and that's what the playing there did to me.
Great. And I'll take the opportunity since you started talking about that, about the mentality of facing these challenges, facing the situations, facing situation that you have never been before, and playing with more experienced, stronger athletes, stronger players. How did you manage to feel comfortable, not comfortable, to feel calmer under situation and be able to perform your game, knowing that there are the other athletes, they know more things than you, they are more experienced than you, some of them have more talent than you, they are stronger than you. How did you manage that?
That's another great question. And I would say something that I think is the most crucial factor for me in order to succeed, not only in what I experience, but any players in the soccer business. You, as a player, we need to embrace failure. Many people and many soccer players, they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to make mistake. They're afraid to learn, you know. When I went there, obviously I had some failures and I had moments where I couldn't like deal with people, you know, with other players because I was a young kid with no experience at all. But if you embrace failure, I'm sorry, and have the resilience to keep going and keep working and stay consistent, then you will have a much better probability, much better chance of getting through this situation. Because as the season is going, for example, you're gonna learn more. There's gonna be players that know more than you do. They're gonna take you with them and they're gonna tell you, look, Phanos, you know, today you did this wrong. Today you did this right. Try and make it better. Coaches are gonna say, um, I need you to do this better. You have to understand that there's no way tap in your back and say, well done, son, because it's not always like that. It's gonna be failure. There's gonna be difficult moments, you know, but you have to be focused enough to learn, and you have to be mature enough, you know, to understand that um, it's not, you don't know everything. You have to learn and learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. And that's what made it for me. That's what did it.
For sure, this helped you a lot, and most of the athletes should think and behave like that. But in reality, we know that especially young athletes, they try to run away from mistakes, they try to avoid mistakes, and this will cause them a lot of issues. And in fact, the more you try to avoid mistakes, the more likely you become to make mistakes. So this mentality, I'm sure this has helped you a lot. And I wanted to know a little more about how you develop this. Did you think like this since you were younger, or do you have the help of some coach, some maybe your parents? How did this happen to you? And over the years before that, the years before you played professional, did you used to think like this when you were younger? Or how was the moment that this changed? Let me know more about that.
I mean, obviously not. When I was younger, I didn't think that way. You know, I made a mistake and I was like, man, you know, I sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I try to avoid failure, you know, but you cannot do that. If you want to be successful, you cannot avoid failure, you know. And I have, to be honest, I have two parents that I think, in my opinion, raised me really well, and they supported me throughout everything that I did, and they always believed in me. And I have friends that did the same, they're athletes as well, so we always push each other, you know. Having people in your circle that give you this edge, this motivation, inspire you to move forward, and and don't think about the past. Again, this is what did it for me. Support and having nice people and motivated people in your life that want to work hard. You're forced to work hard as well. That's what it is. And if you have toxic friends and people that do not want you to succeed, and make up excuses and say, oh, you did a mistake, it's okay, it's another person's fault. No, you need to hold your friend and yourself accountable, because being smart as a person is knowing where you are at the moment, knowing what you can do, knowing what you cannot do. You cannot do everything. And having this support helped me build this resilience. And also failure too. I made plenty of mistakes, as a soccer player. I cost my team goals, and as a defender that I am, and I did that and I felt bad about it. But what can we do? It's the past. You just learn from your mistake and move forward. And that's it. And that's what it is. You need to have the confidence, but also the maturity.
Great. So the connections you had in life, they played an important role on your development and for you to be where you are today. I believe that's key for any kind of athlete and people in general. If they want to become successful, anyone that wants to achieve greatness, that wants to build a business, to become a good employee, to become a good athlete, it's key to develop such good connections that make you to become better. Um, Today you are playing for college. Would you mind sharing a little bit of your goals at your university after you graduate? Do you want to continue playing sports? Do you want to go back to to your home, or do you want to stay in the United States? What are your plans?
It's a very good question again, and I will respond to you like I respond to other people that ask me where I see myself in the future. And I tell them that, first of all, only God knows what is going to happen to us. But um, I take it always step by step and day by day. I try to work as hard as possible, to be a better soccer player, to be a better person. Right now, I'm studying as a strength and conditioning coach, so I want to stay in sports no matter what, no matter if I keep playing or not. And we'll see how it goes from here. Maybe I will stay some years in America if I am given the opportunity to work and meet some more people. Maybe I'll go back in Cyprus. Maybe I'll find a team and play somewhere in Europe. I don't know yet for sure, but the only thing that's sure is that I'm gonna try and stay in sports no matter in which position.
Great, great. I also want to be in sports forever. I don't want to leave this field. So when you grow up playing a sport and you've been through so many experiences on this, I believe no one wants to stop playing a sport like that. And definitely college has helped me to do that, and I think it also helped you because if you are not professional or here in Brazil, and I believe in Europe is the same, if you're not professional by the age of 19, 20 years old, it becomes almost impossible for you to continue playing and keep on the sport you enjoy playing.
I agree with that. It's hard because most players, like you said, they get their contracts and their teams from 18, 19, 20 max years old. But I always think of an example, the example of Jamie Vardy. I don't know if you know the story,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but Jamie Vardy, he started like really low. He wasn't a professional player until he was, I don't know, 20 something, 24, 25.
Yeah. I guess he was
And
playing at
then
the seventh league until he was 24 years old.
you see, so at age 27, he broke a record for the most consecutive game score in the Premier League,
Yeah,
and he was a champion with Leicester City. You know, so you never know what's gonna happen. You need to keep working and not give up. I know, like, there's a lot of players that I know, 18, 19, 20 years old, they don't get their contract, they don't get what they expected, and they say, oh, what I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do now? There's no point in playing no more, and that's wrong. You have to keep going and keep working, because there's gonna be, if you work hard, what I say, there's gonna be an opportunity for you at some point in your life. There's definitely gonna be an opportunity for you. And if you work hard, you're gonna be ready for it. If you don't work hard, not only you're not gonna be ready, but it's never gonna come anyway if you don't
yeah.
work hard. And that's what it is.
I'm a stronger believer to that. So the last thing I wanted us to address in here is dealing with the routine, with the life of being an athlete and being a student, especially away from home where you have to handle everything by yourself. How do you manage that? How do you feel about living away from your family and having so many things to do every single day with school, sports, training, eating, all of those things?
To be honest, I mean, all when I first came to America, it took me one semester. So it took me about from August to January to completely adapt to the American system, which was completely different than than in Europe. Um, I had some difficulties. I had people helping me, um, and to other soccer players that have struggled, in their studies in America, in the NCAA, NIA, and whatever level. There's if you're a student athlete, there's so many opportunities on campus that you can get help from for your studies. There's tutoring, there's a library that you can get help from. The only thing that's keeping you away from doing well in your studies is yourself. Is procrastinating, not doing it at the right moment, and then leave it in all at the end. I used to do that when I was younger in high school, you know. But when I came to America and saw that, okay, now I'm alone. There's nobody to help me, nobody to do it for me. So I have to take responsibility of my problems. That's when I realized that I have to find a system in order to stay balanced, work hard on the field and off the field, because you can't have easy ways if you want to be successful. And so what I did was I tried to wake up as early as possible, you know, take my whole day and have a lot of hours so I can go with my team training, uh, do the extra work, go to the gym or something like that, and have 1 or 2 hours per day to go to the library and study a little bit. If I had trouble, I would call a tutor, or there somebody would be in the library, or even a teammate. There's teammates that can help you as well, and they did, and I'm thankful for that. And I was able to uh, move forward and balance both of them. Is now, as a part of being away from my family, yes, it's very hard. That's the hardest part for me, in my experience, to be away um, from my family, which I love very much, as everybody does. But it takes sacrifice, to do something good in your life.
Yeah, it's every time, whatever you try to do, it's gonna cost something, and you just gotta weigh the pros and cons and see what's more important for you at each period of your life. And for now, I believe that it's a period for sports, for college, and if we decide to take the next step to continue playing pro or find a work in there, it's always gonna cost something if you wanna achieve success, if you wanna to become better, to develop a better path in your life. It's always gonna cost something. And do you use any scheduling tips or any habits that you have that you think would be helpful for athletes, not only on college, but athletes that have to manage work in sports, athletes that are on high school and have to manage their sports. Do you have any tip for those athletes?
So I don't have any specific like habits or rituals. I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, do the hard things first. So for example, if I have an essay to write and I wake up in the morning, I want to do it as early as possible, get it over with, when my mind is fresh and I can be more productive. If you do it early, or when you sit down, you have free time, instead of watching Netflix, YouTube, we all do, I do too. Instead of doing that, just do the essay, do your assignment, finish with it, and then you're gonna be more satisfied watching Blacklist, or How I Met Your Mother on
Yeah,
Netflix if you do it.
yeah, I agree. Priorities first, and then so you can even enjoy better your free time.
Exactly, you're gonna enjoy it better.
So, last thing, I just wanted you to share a little bit about your routine. What time you wake up, how many hours of training you have, how many hours of classes you have. You already said that you set a time 1 to 2 hours for studying, but how many hours do you spend on class, training with your team, going to the gym? What's your schedule like?
Okay, so a typical day for me would be wake up about 6 in the morning, 6 a.m. Um, make my coffee, some breakfast maybe, head to the training room at 7 a.m. We will get taped, prepare routine, activate some muscles, and then at 7:45 we start training every day. We train for about 2 hours. We end 2 times a week. We have a room, so we lift, um, and then at about 12, if we have the weight room, we have the rest of the day to do whatever necessary. So for example, sometimes I would shower and eat and go to the training room for some treatment. Sometimes I have to go to class. There's some 3-hour classes about once a week, that I need to take. This obviously was a little bit complicated because of the coronavirus, but like I could have a class online for 3 hours, or have an hour session in the lab for biology, for example, another day. But a week, I would spend about 4 hours for being in class, 4 or 5. And when I finish that in the afternoon, maybe it depends how I feel. If I'm very tired, then I do my assignments, I do some mobility and stretching, and then I go to bed for the next day. Or maybe if I feel like going to train again, I could go to the field and get some touches in, study if I have assignments to do or a test coming up. And pretty much that's the daily life of a student athlete. There's also some teammates I know that work on campus, that takes more of their time that they have to balance it too. But rather than that, it's pretty basic, I would say, but not easy.
Yeah,
You also have the times where you have to have the proper nutrition. You have to cook, and that's life of a student. You just have, the most important thing, I will end with this, is to stay consistent with what you do. Sleep the same time, wake up the same time, work, do the assignment. Say, for example, that every day I'm gonna sit at 5 p.m. and do an assignment or anything I have for 1 hour, for example. Stay consistent with classes, stay consistent with your soccer program, work hard, and the rest is up to you. This is you against yourself, nothing else.
Yeah, this discipline is the most important thing. If you have your priorities and discipline, it's gonna happen. And I know that the same happens to me, and I know that happens to you, that when we start having a lot of games, we start missing a lot of classes, and a lot of things start adding up, a lot of assignments, study, and we gotta do a lot of things. We gotta find a way to do all of those things, even traveling. Sometimes at the bus, traveling with the team, we gotta do some assignments, and it's all about priorities and know you what you're gonna accomplish, because it takes a lot of effort, and you gotta know it's gonna always be a distraction on campus. You can always find someone to play video games, to hang out, but if you wanna accomplish those things, you must know why you are there and what you're trying to accomplish with all of these.
Exactly. I completely agree. It's definitely hard because, as you said, there's games coming up. You're tired mentally and physically, um, but you have to find a way to keep going. Everybody gets off track sometimes. Maybe miss an assignment or something like that. Nobody's perfect, but if you're gonna miss it, then make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for our conversation. I want to thank you so much for sharing your routine, your thoughts, your goals. Thank you so much for sharing these with everybody. I really appreciate your time and your energy, your intention to help all of these athletes that are striving to become better athletes, better student athletes. I really thank you so much. And I'll tag your Instagram on the video. And if any of you guys want to ask something specifically for him, feel free to add that. I'm saying this, but I don't even know if you allow that, but I'm already saying it. If you guys want to reach him out, I'll leave his Instagram in here. And I want to thank you again for this.
I want to take the time to thank you again for having me. I think your content to help other people get better is amazing. You deserve all the credit you get, and if, like he said, anybody feels like he wants to ask me something, feel free, obviously, and I will be glad to answer any questions and help you guys. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.